You've probably got one in your wallet right now, that little piece of plastic with the Visa logo. We use it every single day, right? We tap, we swipe, we stick the chip in, and poof, money just moves. But the story behind that simple, everyday action is actually one of the most powerful and misunderstood financial models on the entire planet.
Okay, so first things first, let's get one huge misconception out of the way. The biggest myth out there is that Visa is a bank, that they're the ones lending you money for that new TV. They're not even close. The reality? Visa is a technology network. And here's the crucial part. They take on absolutely zero credit risk. If you can't pay your credit card bill, it's the bank that issued your card that takes the hit, not Visa. So that begs the real question. If they're not a bank, what in the world are they?
And this is where it gets so brilliant. The best way to think about Visa is as a massive digital toll booth sitting on top of the global highway of commerce. They don't own the trucks, they don't own the cargo inside, they just own the road itself. And they collect a tiny, tiny fee from every single vehicle that passes through. It's an unbelievably efficient asset-light model. And just how profitable is that toll booth, you ask? Well, this number says it all. This is Visa's projected operating margin for fiscal year 2025. 66%. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. That is an absolutely staggering level of profitability. And it's only possible because they don't have all the costs and all the risks that come with actually being a lender.
So let's peek under the hood at the mechanics of this global toll booth. Visa's network, it's this incredible web that connects over 15,000 different financial institutions, with more than 130 million shops and businesses all over the world. It processes a mind-boggling 234 billion transactions every single year. And on every one of those transactions, they earn that small, but incredibly powerful fee. Now, when you have a business this profitable, you'd better believe you need some serious protection. As the legendary investor Warren Buffett famously said, what he looks for is a big castle protected by a big moat. And this idea, the economic moat, is the perfect way to understand how Visa defends its incredible business from any would-be competitors.
But here's the thing about Visa's fortress. It doesn't just have one moat. Oh no. It has 3 distinct, powerful layers of defense, a massive network effect, incredibly high switching costs, and an almost unfair advantage when it comes to data. So let's look at that first layer, the network effect. It's pretty simple, actually. With nearly 4 billion Visa cards out there in people's pockets, merchants feel like they have to accept Visa, right? Otherwise, they miss out on tons of customers. Well, that universal acceptance then makes the network more valuable for banks, so they issue more cards, which in turn makes it even more essential for merchants to accept it. You see? It's this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle that just gets stronger and stronger.
The second layer of the moat is all about being sticky, being indispensable. See, Visa's technology isn't just some app a bank uses. It is deeply, deeply woven into the core banking systems of its 15,000 partners. For a major bank to even think about ripping all that infrastructure out and switching to a competitor, well, it would be an absolute operational nightmare. Costly, complex, risky. So, guess what? They almost never do.
And now for the third layer, which might just be the most powerful of all, data. When you process over 200 billion transactions a year, you learn a thing or two. You have an unimaginable amount of information. Visa feeds all of this into its super sophisticated AI systems, which in 2024 alone helped prevent an estimated $40 billion in fraud. Now think about that. How can a new competitor possibly match that? They can't just invent decades of transaction data. It's a massive, massive advantage.
So, with this incredible fortress firmly in place, how does Visa keep innovating and stay ahead of the curve? Well, they actually think of their business like a product portfolio. They separate the reliable moneymakers, the cash cows, from the future growth engines, the stars, and the old legacy tech, the dogs that are being phased out. And this lays it out pretty clearly. The cash cow is their core business, credit and debit processing. That's what drives the bulk of their nearly $36 billion in annual revenue. The dog is the old stuff, like the magnetic stripe, but the star category, that's where the future is. We're talking about things like Visa Direct for real-time payments and something called tokenization for security.
And speaking of those stars, let's talk about these tokens. You saw that Visa has about 3.9 billion cards out there, right? Well, they've issued over 11.5 billion tokens. So what is a token? Well, think of it as a secure, one-time, secret code that stands in for your real 16-digit card number when you're paying for something online or with your phone. It is a massive security upgrade, and it's a key part of their plan to dominate the future of digital commerce.
But, even the most fortified castle has to watch for challengers at the gates. And for Visa, the primary threats are coming from two main directions: new technology and, of course, increasing government regulation.
Now, for a while, a lot of people thought crypto was the big existential threat. But honestly, Visa's pretty smart about it. They're already integrating things like stablecoins into their network. The real tech threat is something called account-to-account, or A2A payments. You might know them as things like FedNow in the US or UPI in India. These platforms move money directly from one bank account to another, completely bypassing Visa's toll booth. And this chart shows you exactly why merchants are so excited about A2A. A typical card payment costs a business anywhere from 1.5% to 3.5% of the sale. An A2A payment, it can be just a tiny fraction of a percent. I mean, if you're a business running on thin margins, those savings are a really powerful reason to switch.
But while that tech threat is definitely bubbling up, there's a much more immediate danger that's already here: government regulation. Plain and simple, governments around the world look at Visa and MasterCard and see a duopoly. So they're starting to impose new rules, like the Credit Card Competition Act in the US and really strict fee caps. We're talking as low as 0.2% in Europe, all designed to squeeze the profitability of that toll booth.
So, okay, we've got these challengers at the gates, we've got these threats. What's the big picture here? How should we really think about Visa's place in the future of the economy?
Well, here's the thing. Visa's strategy isn't really a bet on credit cards versus some new fintech app. Their true, massive, overarching bet is on the global digitization of cash. The entire pie of digital payments is expected to hit almost $15 trillion by 2027. It's growing so incredibly fast that Visa doesn't need to win every single little battle to keep on growing.
And I think this analogy just sums it up perfectly. Visa is the stadium owner, not one of the teams playing on the field. They provide the secure infrastructure, the lights, the turf, the security guards, the whole shebang. And they just take a small cut from every single ticket sold, no matter which team actually wins the game. Which really just leaves us with one final provocative question. In a world where money is becoming nothing more than digital bits and bytes, can anyone, whether it's fintechs, governments, or some brand new technology, truly build a road that gets around the world's most profitable and most powerful toll booth?